Multnomah County Chair Deborah Kafoury said the county issued its preliminary report on the heat wave deaths as a way to both mourn those who died and better plan for the future.
Because the climate disruption we all feared would happen someday is happening right now.
June 26th, 27th, and 28th, the scorching heat baked the Portland area with temperatures that reached 116 degrees on Monday, the 28th. As many as 115 people statewide died from the heat. In Multnomah County, as many as 71 deaths were heat-related. So far, 54 are confirmed. County leaders say most were older, 81% 60 years old or above. 92% were white, 63% were men, 78% lived alone, 83% lived in a single or multifamily home or apartment building, and 76% had no air conditioning.
The majority of them died alone and without air conditioning. And of those 8 who had an air conditioning unit, 7 had them unplugged or they weren't working.
I asked Chair Kafoury if air conditioning should be required for all apartment buildings.
If these heat waves are something that are going to be more permanent and more frequent, then having air conditioning and other ways of cooling people in the summer months is going to be incredibly important.
But she stopped short of saying existing buildings should be retrofitted and instead said county leaders and others will study the options. People died in every zip code in Multnomah County. So far, only 2 appear to be homeless. They were found in their vehicles. As for immediate changes, Chris Voss, Multnomah County's director of the Office of Emergency Management, said more cooling centers will likely be opened next time.
We definitely believe that there's an opportunity for improvement there where we can open more locations that'll be closer to the people that might need that support.
It's clear the county leaders here are feeling the pressure to get this done fast. They say this report would normally take a year. Instead, they'll have it done in 30 days, in part because they know there's a lot of summer left. At the county building, Pat Doris, KGW News.